Ladies and gentlemen, Christopher Greene, AMTV. It's a little bit early here in Maui, wherever you're tuned in around the world. God be with us all. I'm getting calls, texts from all over the world right now. My buddies out in New York, on Wall Street, here locally in Maui. Something is about to break. It all starts here, October 1st, just like I warned. U.S. capital markets are about to implode. Global financial system is about to absolutely collapse. That rubber band that they have been tightening is on the verge of snapping. And I've been warning about this for years. The central bank Federal Reserve policy here in the United States and around the world has caused hyperinflation, something they said that would not happen, something that they said was transitory, which is an absolute lie. And it was a fabricated lie with intention. And this is a part of pushing this narrative forward. And now the Federal Reserve and the central bank here in the United States is about to declare an emergency meeting. Yes, you heard it here first. In the coming days, an emergency meeting that could start as soon as this Monday, may in fact even be Black Monday, as a result of the currency crisis that, in my opinion, and many people agree with me, they caused. The British pound sterling nearly collapsed just a few days ago. The pension funds nearly collapsed. They had to restart their form of quantitative easing. And this is the breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. The Federal Reserve Central Bank that has been pushing this fake narrative with the help of the mainstream media is about to actually put a halt and a stop, just like I said they would, and stop quantitative tightening, which was the opposite of easing or bailouts, and reverse course and actually start printing more money again. Instead of allowing the debt to roll off its balance sheet like they said they would and hiking rates, they've created this fake narrative, just like they lied about inflation being transitory, and they're about to reverse course. Now, of course, we've seen this with interest rates rising, like mortgage rates are now at 7%. Real wages collapsing. The Fed being pushed into a corner has nothing else to give, nothing else to do. But here's what you need to understand about this. This is an engineered financial crisis to lead a horse to water, to lead the American people from crisis to crisis to crisis to the new system that they engineered. This is happening now. This is real. You're hearing other people tell you about the currency wars currently being fought, telling you about the Japanese yen weakening. So we need to understand here, all of you need to understand the currency markets and how they work. The US dollar strengthening right now temporarily, which is just the, I guess cleanest of the most dirty shirt in the laundry, so to speak. It's the turd. It's the floatiest of the turds circling the toilet bowl that's about to get flushed down, is a short-lived event that is always precipitated. Listen to what I'm telling you here, has always precipitated. US dollar strength, temporary US dollar strength, has always precipitated economic financial disaster. The same thing happened in 2008 and 09. Now, what you're probably not paying attention to, some of you that aren't, schooled or studying or, would consider yourself an expert in financial markets, is the fixed income market. Okay, guys like me, again, remember, I used to be a banker, so I watch fixed income. I watch what's going on in the treasury markets. I watch what's going on in the repurchasing agreement in repo market. All of that is extremely shaky right now. Okay, we have standard deviations literally moving all over the place like I've never seen in the history of the world. This can only signal one thing: a reset and an absolute calamity ahead. So anything is possible right now, ladies and gentlemen. Notice that a lot of people, even psychologically, if you talk to them, aren't really sure what's going to happen next. Everyone's kind of gotten used to with this hyperinflation, right? The rising food costs, the rising energy shocks, all these things happening around us. I mean, just to give you a clear-cut example, I like Wagyu. Yeah, I'm spoiled. It used to be $40, okay, at Safeway. It's like a couple months ago. It's $65 now. So inflation isn't going to stop, and this has been my thesis. They can't stop inflation. It doesn't matter what the central bank or Federal Reserve is doing. Look at how they've barely budged interest rates. We're barely at like 3-4%. They've barely hiked, and it's disrupting all currency markets around the world. This is so pathetic. Look at how weak the Federal Reserve is, the central bank. And so this is all by design, and you have to understand this is what they want. This also causes temporary dollar strength, ladies and gentlemen, causes hyperinflation in the other economies. Other economies that issue debt based on US dollars, you know, the full faith and credit of the US government, which I think all will be lost soon if it isn't already. I mean, I don't know how anybody has full faith and credit in the credit of the US government. I have zero faith in the credit of the US government, which is why I'm getting out of all the banks. That's why I got out of all the banks. This is why I'm in cryptocurrency. This is why I'm in Island Project, and we have no debt because I already know what's coming. I've warned about this, and I'm telling you, it all starts today, just like I predicted on October 1st. You are going to see emergency declarations and emergency meetings declared all around the world in the coming days. The central bank's going to be clamoring. CNBC is going to be reporting it. They're going to come to the rescue as a currency absolutely collapses overseas and then creates a cascading event of a black swan no one could predict except this guy here. And I'm sure many of you tuning in because it's totally obvious. We know the whole system's rigged. We know the whole system is a scam. We know the central bank isn't tough. We know they're not going to continue increasing rates. They can't. They can't even pay the debt on the interest payments that they owe. I forget who the individual was. Maybe you can help me out with this, but he's a big hedge fund manager. I'm trying to think of his name, but he was painting a picture of how dire the situation is in America. Like, basically, we will not be able to afford, the government will not be able to afford anything like in the next 10, 20 years. Social Security, Medicare, all these social programs, everything's gone. Everything's completely done. The truth is Fortune 100 companies, dirty politicians, and the central bank, which should be ended, which is why I always supported Ron Paul, who should have been president of the United States, have destroyed our markets and destroyed our economy. And they're now ushering in a pre-planned engineered collapse to transfer you into a new system while they bankrupt the middle class, introduce CBDCs, and give you peasantry income in the form of universal basic income. And this is what's going to happen worldwide. And it's always a blame game, guys. It wasn't their fault that this happened. Repo market, massive gyrations. Again, standard deviation moves. We've never seen this before in the fixed income market. If you go out in the curve of US Treasury debt and you actually understand how these market systems work, you'll understand what I'm saying here. But you don't even need to know the itty bitty details here. So what we're approaching now is a cascading event in the fear of the unknown. And you have to understand human psychology. Just like in 2008-09, everyone sold. Just like in recent years, everyone's buying. They're buying the inflation. Real estate's going 2-3x. It's going freaking bonkers. The Fed then says that they're going to start increasing rates. I told you that they were lying to you, just like I told you they were lying about transitory inflation. Now they're going to stop. They're going to turn off QT, quantitative tightening, and they're actually going to start the bailouts and money printing again. This is going to create another hyper bubble and a hyperinflationary event, but it's also going to cause certain markets to collapse, overseas and domestically. It's going to create gyrations in the political, economic, financial systems like you've never seen before. So, just throw everything out the window, everything that you know, and we understood this years ago. Like, you don't even need to understand a company's balance sheet, cash flow statements. All you need to understand is the central bank rigs the system, and they print currency and they create inflation. That's all you need to know. And they bail out and close economies and restart economies anytime they want. This is not free market capitalism. It is crony capitalism. It is bailout capitalism. It is rigged capitalism. A free market would have allowed the too big to fail banks to die in 2008-09. But our government, which is no different from the command economy in China, in my humble opinion, basically dictates who survives, who are the winners, and who are the losers. That's not free market capitalism at all. So we are entering a hellscape, ladies and gentlemen, in my humble opinion. It starts today, October 1st, 2022. In fact, there's a good article, you should actually read it, because again, this is the narrative they want. They want you to panic. They want to usher in capital controls. They want a crisis. They want a scapegoat, which is why you're getting articles like today that says the Fed from CNBC is breaking things, giving this false illusion as if Jerome Powell, the teleprompter reader, who's not even an independent authority, he basically just gets a script from whoever's in charge, is somehow acting tough. These people aren't acting tough. They're already selling the narrative that they've got to stop the rate hikes because it's that pathetic. Because our financial system is so broken, so chaotic by design, and so bankrupt that they have to sell a false illusion before reversing course again and restarting the bailouts. I'm not the only one saying this. I know you guys are tuning in to a lot of people around the world, but I'm just telling you from my market knowledge, from what I understand and everything that I've been doing, including this, there's a reason we have no debt, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to pounce and take advantage of every single opportunity along the way. I encourage you, get out of the banks, guys. You got to get out of the banks. You got to get out of the banks. How many times do I have to repeat this? Get out of the banks. At the very least, start diversifying outside of the system before everything breaks. So I'm expecting an emergency meeting being declared by the Fed soon. We could see a Black Swan, Black Monday potentially coming on Monday. Capital markets are getting crushed. Currency markets are collapsing. Pensions overseas and soon into the United States and social welfare programs are going to go bust. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, there is normalcy bias here in the United States, and somehow everything's just going to go along like La La Land. Look at what CNBC tells you on a daily basis. Every article, every pundit, it's a recession, it's a depression, it's an economic collapse, the dollar's going to collapse. They're selling you that narrative. It's because it's what they're actually doing. So for people that have normalcy bias, you think that this can't happen. I can't tell you how many thousands of you told me that they wouldn't shut down the whole world. And I'm like, no, they will. And so I bailed out here to Maui early 2020 and then watched everything close down. Like, you are about to be shocked here in the United States of America, and it's exactly what they want. It's like tasing a cow right between the head, and it's going to catch a lot of people off guard as this train derails. So I want you to leave a comment or question in the box below. Again, these are my opinions, not financial advice. Do with it what you will. These are the things that I'm doing. But I believe we're about to see a major panic in global financial markets. The Federal Reserve is going to declare an emergency meeting along with other central banks. They're going to stop quantitative tightening, and they're going to start easing again. And they're going to start printing more currency. They're also going to halt rate hikes. And eventually, at some point soon, start cutting. So I want you to think about this. Everyone's going to get caught off sides. This is going to create huge market dislocations around the world when it comes to real estate, when it comes to the bond markets, especially, which you should be watching, the currency markets. Those are the two indicators that I'm really looking at now that are really scary. It's the fixed income bond market. It's the short-term repo market. Okay, it's debt markets overseas, and it's currency markets. So most Americans are just like watching stocks on a day-to-day basis. No, look at our debt market right now. This is about to literally implode. And we've had so many warnings of this in the past. Ray Dalio, billionaire, he's already exited out to places like China with a lot of his money, and he's diversified globally and also owns Bitcoin. He says there's going to be capital controls in the United States. What does that mean? You go to the bank. Hey, can I have my money back? No, you can't. Like, do you understand what I'm telling you? Hey, can I get my money? No, you can only get $1,000 of your 100K. What? Yeah, that's what's going to happen next, guys. But hey, I want to take my money out of the bank, and I want to put it in this other investment. Nope, sorry, it's for the good of America, guys. We're all in this together. We're all in this economic collapse together. No, we're not. The only people benefiting from this are the insiders on Wall Street, the politicians insider trading, Nancy Pelosi and her husband that just miraculously outperform hedge funds, the politicians that traded on insider knowledge prior to the shutdowns here in the United States in 2020. How about them apples? No one even did anything about that. No one even did anything about 2008-09. All we got is this weak-ass protest, the Wall Street protest. Remember that? And then everything just carried on. This whole thing is a rigged system. It's going to implode your pocketbook. Okay, you're going to bear the brunt just like you always do. Just like thousands of businesses were forced to close over the last 2 or 3 years because your government said so. Said, you know what, you're non-essential, but Amazon is, so Jeff Bezos can go buy another fancy yacht while they screw you and bend you over. This is how the world works. So this is going to be a rough patch. You thought 1929 was bad? Welcome to your version of 1929 on steroids, ladies and gentlemen. Again, this isn't fear-mongering. I don't want you guys to be in fear. I want you to understand what's coming and make the moves now to profit from what's coming. Don't lose your shirt. Don't lose your farm like so many people did in 1929. And then you know what happened? The government confiscated it. What did they do in 2008-09? The banks that caused the collapse confiscated your property with foreclosures and short sales in 2008-09. And then they made a killing on the upside. They're going to do it all over again. He who has the capital and the cash is about to pounce on the worst economic collapse that has ever occurred in world history. I've said this a million times. People are panic buying an island project right now because they know they got to get out of the banks. They're double, tripling, quadrupling down on their investments because they know they got to get out. When capital controls hit, there's going to be a panic into non-sovereign assets like Bitcoin, gold, silver, island project, land, real estate, any cash flow producing investments, even starting your own business. You should be doing all these things right now, in addition to food, water, and energy, which is going to continue to go up. They cannot stop inflation by hiking a few percentage points. Currency markets are already collapsing overseas, which is what they want. If the US government and regulators were not all over blockchain right now, Bitcoin would already be at 100 plus K. And it's going to be at 100 plus K. This is why all the billionaires own it. It's the new system. What do you guys not understand about it? Okay? Blockchain technology is the new system. So anyways, I'm going to have 2 action steps for you today. 2 action steps, very important, because it's not just, hey, here's all the crap that's going to happen and how bad it's going to get, so you suffer. No, take advantage of the opportunity. 2 things to do. 1, I'll add a link in a minute after this video, or you can manually go to islandproject.com right now. Go there, fill out an app. Myself, my team will review it. And if you're lucky, I'll approve it. And you can get in if there's still a spot left. And you can get out of the bank. And you can own real estate. Okay? And you can become part of what we're doing to exit out of the system of which most Americans have no faith anymore. I mean, are you telling me Americans have faith in the central bank? Like, this is the worst mismanaged intentional negligence that I have ever seen in the history of man. This is the worst case possible scenario, which the Fed's going to declare an emergency meeting, probably starting on Monday after a black swan collapse. So you've got to do that. That's 1. Get into islandproject.com. There's other options too. You can get into the club. That's another excellent opportunity. And then the second step that I want you to take today, just reach out to us. Reach out to me and my team. Give us a call or send us a text message. So I'm going to give you a phone number, okay? You can call or text to reach out to my team at the Island Project. That phone number is 808-442-2934. And I'll put it in the description. That number is for Island Project to reach out to my team. 808-442-2934. I'll repeat it 3 times so you remember. 808-442-2934. Speak with my team. Ask for John Greene. Okay? And if you leave a voicemail and or send a text. If you're buying or selling property, you need help with that here in Maui or Oahu, give us a call. If you need advice on what to do, not financial advice, but you need an opinion, a second pair of eyes to take a look at your situation, give us a call. Call that number, send us a text. And more importantly, to get ahead of the curve, fill out an app at islandproject.com. Get in, you can do it all there. It's all streamlined digitally. If you just want to get in and make sure you save your spot, just do that and get in. It'll come into me. I'll review it for potential countersigning. You can review our operating agreement and all the things that we're doing with Island Project. Again, we have no debt, ladies and gentlemen, because I already know what's coming. A debt collapse. I already know there's going to be a panic at the banks. I already know there's capital controls coming. I already know Americans are going to get absolutely destroyed. And people are going to panic into the opportunities like Island Project because we are the true digital Noah's Ark. We are going to pounce. We're going to have epic wealth creation in the coming months, huge capital liquidity base to go out and pick our spots and pick up all these deals. We're renting out all the properties for cash flows, which is going to be very, very important in a very disruptive market. Our investors get paid cash flows on an annual basis, large capital appreciation potential. And in addition to that, I'm tokenizing it and blockchainifying it. Look, you guys can go work with a run-of-the-mill, real estate, boring, traditional dinosaur agent who's an absolute commodity. Or you can onboard with us, the #1 marketing engine in the world that reaches millions of people around the world, that is blockchaining real estate, fractionalizing the best-of-class oceanfront in the world, creating real cash flows, and speak with my team, which is 1,000 steps ahead of all these other people, that soon, in the coming years, will eventually catch the drift as we continue to go out and disrupt this entire market. Everything's going to change. You think your job is stable? It's not. It's not. Oh, you think you're going to work from home permanently? No, that's called unemployment. That was a sale job. That was a con job by those in charge. Oh yeah, everyone's going to work from home now. No, you're not. They're clearing out the cities and clearing out the commercial buildings. Those are going to turn into your small apartments they're going to force people in. It's going to be subsidized housing, you know, like little boxes that you're going to live in, 500 feet. You know, the same ones Musk designs, the new Tesla box. That's to put all the peasants in. What do you guys not understand about this? So again, reach out to us. Let us help you. Let me help you. And again, you know, thank you to all of you tuning in. It's a, you know, blessing, and I'm humbled by that. But there's a reason why I've poured millions and millions of dollars of my own cryptocurrency and my own, because I'm out of dollars. I have zero faith and trust in the US government. Zero. My faith and trust in the US government is negative. It is negative. I know this system's phony and rigged. That's actually how I got rich the first time, getting out of the system. The only thing I've learned, honestly, is you get out of the system, you'll be 1,000 times better off. Get out of the banks, they pay zero. The central bank is about to close, I believe, the financial system down and institute capital controls. And next, what they've got coming is a reset, in their own words, and the digitization of the new system, which will usher in the fake fiat dollars, which will include CBDCs. So this is going to be a tidal wave. We got a 500-year storm in Florida. You saw how bad that was? How it catches everyone off guard? They lose everything? That's the metaphor for what's coming here in the financial system. So here's my question for you. Are you ready? Are you out of the banks? Are you diversified? Are you creating cash flows? Are you taking advantage of blockchain? If you're not, you're already behind the curve. You're the dude that did not buy Google stock. You're the dude that did not get into Amazon after the 2000 collapse. You're the dude that thought Tesla wasn't going to be this massive company, which it turned out to be. And why was it? It's subsidized, man. The government, he's the new Howard Hughes. Every company Musk touches comes from, like, the government has a self-interest to propel all these companies. Whether or not it's the satellites in the sky, or it's SpaceX that works and is replacing NASA, or it's the tiny home boxes he's going to plug you into in a 400 square foot box in the commercial buildings that they're going to renovate, or it's the new Optimus robot or the Neuralink that they're going to plant in your head. And by the way, I'll go on a little mini rant here with the robot stuff. They're not going to create robots. Guess who the robot is? You. They're not smart enough to create a robot. God's beautiful creation, Adam and Eve. They're not smart enough. What they're going to do is take human beings and program you. What do you think's happening now? This is all about programming human beings and humanity and making you the robot slave. It's not the robots working in the factories. It's going to be you after they merge you with these freaking machines. This is a complete human takeover. And I'll save that for another video because I want to make my point today. So again, 2 action steps. 1, islandproject.com, fill out an app. 2, give us a call, speak with my team, or send us a text message. We've got hundreds of people already in our queue, so please be patient. Send a text. Hey, you know, Island Project team, it's Bob, it's John. You know, I need help with this. We will get back to you. I'm going to be working tirelessly all this evening because I know everything's about to hit the fan this next week. The central bank will declare an emergency soon. It won't be their fault, of course. It's never their fault. Okay, it's going to be just one giant calamity worldwide. Planetary collapse. Probably at the same time, I don't know, some kind of tactical nuke will go off too, and we'll get, the war will spiral out of control in Ukraine as well. You know, they're going to throw a couple different smoke screens everywhere. Keep people on their toes, you know, keep them in constant states of fear. What I'm telling you is the truth, whether you believe it or not, but you should. I've spoken with a nice gentleman. He's an investor in Island Project yesterday. I won't put out his name just for privacy reasons. He says, Christopher, he came in, just came in as an early founder. He's like, Christopher, I've been following you, man, since you were broadcasting out of the basement. And I was laughing. I'm like, yeah, man, humble beginnings. He's like, no, Christopher, I trust you. I know you're going to do the right thing. He says, I should have taken your financial advice. Not financial advice, I have to say that. But I should have followed, you know, your opinion, your personal opinion years ago. I would have made a lot more money. He says, but I'm listening now. Go get them. Go get them. So take care of you and yours and your family. Put all your faith in God and build what you're going to need to build here, and be smart with your money, because we are about to see a giant funnel and a giant tidal wave of panic into safe assets. Where do you want to be? Outside of fiat, outside of the dollars, outside of the banks. I don't know about you, but I sleep better at night knowing my money's in real estate and it's paid for. And this is what Island Project does. And it's being tokenized. And it's internationalized. And we have a community, and there's a strength in numbers in that. We're all rooting for each other. Rental incomes. Many of you ask, well, Christopher, like, what are you doing with the properties? Well, a lot of it's resale to start that we're buying, and we're picking our spots over time. We don't keep money in the bank. We buy properties in sequence to build out the portfolio. Then we rent them. You know, it surprises a lot of people, but, you know, a lot of our properties, they'll rent $1,000, $2,000 a night. There's properties down the street from me in New Billionaires Row that rent for $15,000, $20,000 a night. So you got to create cash flows. And what's great about what we're doing is that the average man, I've democratized everything for everybody, can get in, and you can own a part in a piece of the rock, which you normally couldn't do. Not everyone's going to go out and buy a $10 million house on the beach. I could do that just for myself individually if I wanted to, if I wasn't, you know, building all these other businesses and stuff. See, I put all my wealth into businesses. I put all my wealth into creating cash flows. I put all my wealth into what my vision in a big vision for the future is. See, money and wealth is energy. I know a lot of rich people, but you know what they lack? Energy, purpose, and to me, that's just gluttony. You know, why be rich if you're not going to do good things with it? But my point is, not everyone can afford the $10 million oceanfront home, but you can with us, with Island Project. What do you think is going to outperform in the next few years? A crappy condo in Middle America or the $10 million oceanfront place? Well, Maui is every single time. So anyways, guys, not financial advice. Links below. Call us, text us, register, go to islandproject.com, fill out the app, fund it for my approval, and then let us know if you have any questions. I'll never contact you on WhatsApp or Telegram. God bless you. Prepare for the worst. This is October 1st. This is when it all begins.